Hi, my name is Abby Furman, and the topic I studied this semester was body positivity and social media. As a strategic communications master's student, I do a lot with social media, and I know a lot of people are on social media all the time. It's a really popular medium, and I know that body positivity is really important, and it's an issue today, so I wanted to look at this topic. So first of all, what is body positivity? Body positivity is embracing being heavier. It means loving and respecting your body no matter its size. Now, along with body positivity, there are three other sides to the coin: thin ideal, fitspiration, and the curvy ideal. Thin ideal is being thin, fitspiration is being lean and fit and muscular, and the curvy ideal is having large breasts and a large butt. Now, how does social media fit into body positivity? First of all, the main popular social media sites are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and Snapchat. And all these sites show photos and videos. So this media enforces the body fat stereotypes that the ideal body should be thin and fit. Lots of these sites don't post and don't feature overweight and heavy individuals. Many of these posts show thin women, thin ideal influencers, and they talk about losing weight, exercising, dieting, and all that. Social media is related to body image concerns, eating disorders, and it can negatively affect mental health. The population of interest that I looked at was mostly women. My qualitative, quantitative, and action research articles that I studied, they all really focused on women. They were the ages of mid to late teens to mid 30s, and most of them were located in North America. The quantitative study I looked at did talk to women from Australia. Right now, the main expectation is that there should be both thin ideal and body positive content on social media, but unfortunately that is not the case. There is more thin ideal content, fitspiration content, curvy ideal content than there is body positive content. Censoring and deleting photos are one of the main challenges to including body positive content on social media. Sites like Instagram and TikTok have removed body positive images that feature overweight and larger bodied women, which increases the exposure of thinner women. Facebook currently has a policy that limits hate speech toward things like race, gender, and disability, but they don't have anything in place that limits weight bias speech. However, Pinterest does have a new policy that currently limits bias about body size and weight. Cyberbullying is another issue with body positivity. Lots of comments on posts that feature heavier individuals are negative, derogatory, mean, and hurtful. These people don't want to post themselves if they're going to be receiving hurtful comments. Edited images are also another issue. Lots of bodies are photoshopped, as you can see in this image right here. People photoshop their weight, their butts, their arms, their breasts. I mean, you name it, they Photoshop it. So there were a lot of recommendations that I found in the studies that I read this semester. One of the recommendations was to include a diverse sample of people, various genders, ages, races, disabilities, sexual orientations. The studies that I read, they didn't say much about, whether the participants they selected had a disability, what their sexual orientation was, what their races were, but it did say that a lot of them were women. So, maybe including studies on men would be something new to add. And then also using inclusive words like larger or heavier rather than obese and overweight. Some of the studies that I read when they were trying to recruit people, they had the words overweight and obese on like their flyers that they posted around. So maybe including more inclusive words would be the way to go. Another recommendation would be to try and replicate real-world effects. Lots of people spend hours and hours a day on social media and in their own homes, in their beds, on campus, in the library, and all that. So, trying to replicate that experience instead of having them be in a laboratory is recommended. Another suggestion would be to change up the content that the researchers show the sample members. Lots of the content they were shown was pictures of people, so maybe trying to show some quotes and just different content than people. One of the limitations in this research that I found was the lack of a control group, and control overall, really. In both the action and the quantitative research that I looked at, there was no control group. There was just, the sample size. In the experimental group, they didn't control anything and keep it the same, and then, do the experiment on the other group. And the other limitation was the pre and post study measures. They were different. In one of the studies, they had a survey for the participants to fill out, and it differed from before and after the study. Another limitation was that diverse populations were not studied. Most of the studies I looked at focused mostly on women and didn't really include men. They also didn't really talk about disability or sexual orientation, so maybe looking at some studies that include men and some other aspects would be beneficial. Another limitation is the accuracy of information. I'm sure, as we all know, there's lots of fake and false news online. Along with this, people can also buy fake followers, fake likes, and fake comments. So this can affect, the accuracy and reliability of some of the information in these studies. And finally, I have some suggestions for future research. One is to make sure you use controlled settings and have a control group. Look at the long-term benefits of exposure to body-positive content over, maybe a few months, a yearly period, 2 years instead of a couple of weeks or a couple of hours. And then also looking at different types of body-positive content to see which is the most effective at improving mood and self-esteem. Here are my references. Thank you all for listening.